Hey there, everyone. Welcome back to This Week at Notarize. Earlier this week, we celebrated International Women's Day, and one of the ways we celebrated was by highlighting women of first. And that was our chance to highlight influential women, the barriers they broke, and how it's on all of us to mentor and sponsor the next generation of women leaders. And so it's in that spirit of women of first that we welcome our next guest to This Week at Notarize. She was the first notary on the platform back in 2016 when Notarize kicked off as a company. It's Jacqueline Phillips. Hey, Jackie.
Hey.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing marvelous. Can't complain.
Fantastic. So why don't you give a quick intro to everyone, just so we can hear a little bit more about you and what you do here at Notarize.
All right. So I am Jacqueline Phillips. I've got this really long title. I'm the manager of notary onboarding and compliance.
Going back to 2016 when you first joined the company, how did you first learn about Notarize? Where did you, find the opportunity? What made you want to take the leap with Notarize and remote online notarization, which at the time was still, it was known in Virginia, but not really known kind of beyond the remote online notarization community?
So in 2014, I decided to ramp up my notary signing business. So got into the real estate space, was doing closings, was doing really well. And myself, and Janet and my sister, who also works at Notarize, we were reading into the laws and our handbooks and noticed that you could do remote online notarization. So we had started doing some of the research there, how we were going to get the software, how we're going to get all the webcams and all that to work. And in Virginia, you're not required to take any kind of training. So I had taken Carol Ray's training, I'd taken other vendors' training, and Carol Ray reached out to me in December 2015 and told me, two guys were going to call me and they were going to talk to me about remote online notarization. So I got a call from Pat and Adam and saying, hey, we're looking for notaries to join our platform. We're going to be in Virginia next week. So we met with Pat and Adam in January of 2016. The Secretary of State of Virginia was there to also watch our demo training. So we had 30 minutes of training with Pat, and they showed us how to use right then it was just the iPhone, and how the notary would meet with the signer to complete that notarization. And the rest is kind of history.
What did you expect from the opportunity at the very beginning?
Well, at that time, it was just being able to stay home with my children. They were going through that middle school, teenage, high school years, and I was able to do that. I was able to grab calls, go fix dinner, take care of a kid, pick up the kids from school. It gave me that flexibility that is needed at that time and point in my life. So, and the product was awesome. I mean, what we have now is amazing. I mean, we started out with just retail calls, just the regular like POAs, consent to travels, minor passport applications. My favorite ones were, of course, the cars that were impounded at lots at 2:00 in the morning, and you needed to get the car out, so you needed the document notarized. So we did a lot of those documents, and then, of course, the business grew going into that second half of 2016. So by the time I was transitioning to my next position here at Notarize, I had already done 5,000 sessions on the platform. So, I mean, it went really quick how many notarizations I had completed. And then we had like 2 or 3 notaries that had almost hit like the 20,000 mark. And then, of course, with the growth of the company and their experience, they moved into other teams on the company as well.
That's incredible. I mean, 20,000 paper transactions,
Yes.
I feel like would take
Oh,
an incredibly long amount of
oh
time.
my goodness, I couldn't even imagine how long that would take. So being notary number one, saw the platform grow, saw the team expand, worked hand in hand with a lot of the members as we expanded the group. So I worked with engineering, I worked with the product group, worked with the QA team. At Notarize, the one thing that I pride ourselves in is that we listen to each other's teams, and the engineering and the QA team sat with the notaries in the offices, order offices. We don't go there anymore, but when we had the offices, they would sit next to the notaries and saw how the notaries use the platform. We would have meetings with the notaries on what can we make it better? How can we make it better for you? How can we make it better for the signer? How can we make it a more fluid session from beginning to end? Being able to stop a meeting and pick up a meeting. We've had signers where they were in a meeting with the notary and they would be like, oh, I forgot I had a doctor's appointment. And we're able to stop that meeting. They can go to their doctor's appointment. We've had parents get calls that, hey, I got to pick up my child from school. They're sick and they're in the middle of a closing. And if we're in traditional and you're in the middle of a closing, it's the notary has to go back home, wait for that signer to come back, then they come back. Whereas you just kind of pick up with the session, they jump in with another notary, no one's moved, and they finish that session now, and doctor's appointment or child's been picked up from school. So that's one of the biggest features that I think I've loved with our platform, that being able to just pick up and go. We live in a world where the internet is everything. I mean, you live on the internet, sometimes it drops, sometimes it doesn't. And when it drops, being able to just pick up and move ahead with the session, I think is probably my number one feature that I've learned, that I've loved with Notarize.
And so, Jackie, this is Women's History Month. We've been asking everyone that's come on this week at Notarize this same question. Who is a woman that has inspired you or made a positive impact in your career?
So like Renee said last week, I had to think about this, but once I think about the Women in History, Monday being, of course, Women's International Day, my heritage is Latina. So I'm going to say my grandmothers were a big part of that. They knew that America would be a land of opportunity. So they pushed their children to come to America for that opportunity. And then they believed in hard work and in education. So I'm the first one to have a 4-year degree here in the United States. I pushed my daughters for the same thing. Of course, not being here from the United States, I've learned the heritage of the United States. So those that have trailblazed before us, like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Maya Angelou, we've heard of the quote of, I stand on the shoulders of giants. So because of those women that have trailblazed, I'm able to have the opportunity to be in a company that also embodies those. The diversity in Notarize is amazing to me. We have women, men, all Indian, Latinas, white, Blacks. It's like we have a good mix, and I credit that to just our company, just making sure that we're just very diverse. I remember my dad always telling us as girls that he wanted us to be the Condi Rices of the world. I did not go into legal, but I am on the legal team here at Notarize. So, but just being able to not only trailblaze those trailblazers, but I'm also trailblazing for my daughters. This is a new space. 2 of my daughters are notaries as well. So they have now been able to use that as there are different things that they've done in life because of being a notary. One of my daughters got her job actually by going out to do a notary and speaking to the business owner and said, yeah, this is the route I'm going, and ended up doing that for a while till she decided to become a government contractor like most of us do here in the Northern Virginia area.
Yeah, that's so great. And thank you for sharing, that personal angle of it. Thank you so much, Jackie, for taking the time to speak with us today and for sharing your story. We're really excited for what the next 5 years at Notarize mean for you and for all of us. And for everyone else, we'll see you next week on This Week at Notarize.
See you, everyone.
So we have a competition that's been going on the last couple of weeks that has grown very organically. I don't know if you've seen it in past episodes.
I have. I am ready for that answer today.
What's the answer?
Fork. Okay, this is the reason why when we were children, we would try to see how many macaroni we could stab on a fork. So that you can't stab macaroni with a spoon. So it's fork. How many?
I thought we had something here, Jackie.
I know. I was thinking about this answer and I knew it was going to break your heart. I mean, I can understand the spoon thing, trying to get as many on there so you can get it in your mouth as quickly as possible. But I'm a mathematician, so we were like trying to count how many we could get on there. We are a math family.